Hey, fourth grade, happy Tuesday. All right, back with getting ready for fifth grade lessons. And now we are on lesson 3. And today we are talking about order of operations. So raise your hand if you remember what order of operations are. We talked about them very briefly earlier in the year. Okay, so if you remember, order of operations is when you have a specific order that you have to solve these multi-step problems in. If you remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. All right. And this is the order that we are going to be solving problems in. P stands for parentheses. You always do things in parentheses first. Always, always, always. It doesn't matter what operation is in there. If it's adding, subtracting, division, multiplication, it does not matter. If it's inside the parentheses, they always come first. Exponents, which if you see a number with that little tiny number up top like that, that's an exponent. Now, we don't really deal with those in fourth grade. You might see some of them in fifth grade, but not till later in the fifth grade year. So we are not going to be worrying about exponents for this particular lesson. And then we would look at multiplication and division. Now, I put them on top of each other because you'll solve them in the exact same step. It just depends which one comes first when you're going from left to right. So if you're reading a problem from left to right and there's multiplication and division, you solve whichever one comes first, like you're reading a book, okay? And then lastly, you will solve any addition or subtraction problems. And it's the same thing with that step. Whichever one comes first when you are going from left to right, that's which one you solve first, okay? So let's go ahead and look at these 4 problems and practice these steps. So they want us to write correct if the operations are listed in the correct order. So these right here. And then we are going to go ahead and solve these, okay? So we've got 4 plus 5 times 2. It says that we should multiply first and then add. Is that correct? No, it's not. Why is that not correct? Exactly, because our first step is always to solve those parentheses. In our parentheses, we've got adding first. So we should add and then multiply. So now that we know the correct order, let's go ahead and solve this. So we've got 4 plus 5 times 2. The first thing we're going to do is check for parentheses, and there are some. We're going to solve what's in those parentheses first. So what is 4 plus 5? 9. Very good. So now we've got 9, and then I'm just going to copy the rest of my problem down. 9 times 2. So now we can move on in our next step. There's no more parentheses. So now we're moving on to multiplication and division, and we see we only have multiplication left. 9 times 2 equals 18. Very good. So our answer would be 18. Awesome job. Let's move on to number 2. 8 divided by 4 times 2. Now it says we should multiply first and then divide. Is this correct? Yes, it is correct. Why is that correct? Division comes first. Exactly. The multiplication is inside the parentheses. We always solve parentheses first. So we're going to multiply first and then divide. So this, I'm going to put big C for correct right there. And 4 times 2 equals 8. Very good. And then I'm going to copy the rest of my problem down just like this, so I see what else I have to solve. All I'm left with is 8 divided by 8, and that's going to give me what? Very good. It is going to give me 1. Awesome job. All righty, let's look at number 3. We've got 12 plus 16 divided by 4. It says that they think we should add first and then divide. Is that correct? No, it is not. Why is that not correct? Exactly, because we always solve parentheses first. No matter what operation is inside of them, we always solve those first. So we would need to switch those around and divide, then add. So let's go ahead and do that. 16 divided by 4 would give me what? Very good, because 4 times 4 is 16. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. Then I'm going to go ahead and copy the rest of my problem down. 12 plus 4 is going to give me what? 13, 14, 15, 16. Very Good. Not too bad, right? These problems, sometimes when we see math problems like that, it's a little bit intimidating because it's a lot of numbers and a lot of operations all in one equation. But when we look at them from the perspective of using order of operations, it's a little bit easier to digest and kind of figure out. All right, number 4 has a little bit more steps than the first 3. So let's look at it. It says that we should add, multiply, and then subtract. So is adding going to be our first thing? No, it's not. Because why? Very good, because it is not our parentheses operation. So what would we do first? Very good. We would subtract first. And then according to our order of operations, what would we do next? Multiply or add? Very good. We would multiply because multiplication and division come next in those steps after parentheses and exponents, which means we would add last. All right, so let's go ahead and get this solved. So let's start with our parentheses. 3 minus 1 is 2. Awesome. And then I'm going to copy the rest of my problem down. 9 plus 2 times 2. Okay, so now I've got 9 plus 2 times 2. I know that according to my order of operations, I'm going to have to multiply next. So when I'm going from left to right, my multiplication problem reads 2 times 2. So what is 2 times 2? Very good. 4. Awesome job. And then I'm going to copy the rest of my problem down. So I'm going to bring that 9 and that addition symbol on down. And now all I have left to do is add. 9 plus 4 is? Very good. 13. All righty, guys, that is it. Awesome job. Make sure you just remember these steps. Always parentheses first. We're not going to really be dealing with exponents in this lesson, so I don't want you to worry too much about this, but you do need to remember that this is part of the order of operations, and then multiplication and division, and addition and subtraction. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. All right, guys, have a great day, and I will see you on Thursday for lesson 4.